Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day. Today is going to be a very informative video. About a week ago, I had a viewer ask me what does he need to do to his car to prepare for autocross and make sure he doesn't fail inspection. Today, I am going to show you guys just what you need to do. I'm going to tell you what the purpose of an inspection is. The point of an inspection, the tech inspection, is to make sure your car is safe and working well enough to actually go around the track. So your vehicle cannot have no oil leaks, it can't have any coolant leaks, and it's pretty much got to be tightened down altogether. All of your lug nuts have to be tightened down, all of them, and you really can't have any loose materials inside your car. So if you're a filmer like I am, you gotta make sure your mounts are tight or they won't let you drive. So we're gonna go underneath the hood. Of course, you know when you're racing, you want to make sure your car is in perfect condition. Make sure your car won't blow up while you're driving. And you want to make sure all your fluids are filled. They will definitely check that. Make sure your clutch reservoir is good, it's full, if you have a clutch. Make sure your brake fluid is good. And in some cases, you may even have to cover up your battery because the hood might touch it, as I had to do in this Civic. Make sure your coolant's good, and definitely make sure your oil's good, because you're going to be pretty much revving the hell out of your engine while you're racing. As I said, you want to make sure your lug nuts are tightened down, and it's also best to adjust your tire pressure before you start racing. That way you can also get the best lap times. Make sure your tires are good, make sure they're full of tread, and actually make sure you have a good tire as well. When I first got this Civic, I have Ironman tires on here. It's a semi-performance tire on here, but they kind of suck, to be honest with you. This car has a lot of lift-off oversteer, and yeah, it does help a little bit, but these tires got eaten up whenever I first raced 2 months ago when I got this car. So make sure your lug nuts are tight. Oh, and also, while I was under the hood, I also forgot to say, make sure your battery is tight. Now, this might depend on what venue you're at that day. But make sure your exhaust is not extremely loud. If your exhaust is extremely loud, they may actually put a decibel meter on your car and actually test it. And if it's too loud, you won't be able to race. That's actually the first thing they say whenever we start racing at Barber Motorsports, especially because there's a lot of suburban neighborhoods nearby, and they definitely don't want the track getting close because of that. Another thing, make sure there is nothing in your cargo department. As you can see, I have a lot of stuff in my cargo department, so I wouldn't pass. Make sure it's just completely empty. Nothing going to fly around in there, because that can be very dangerous, especially if it's something really heavy. Now, you guys are probably wondering about lights. You don't really have to worry about those, because some people actually run autocross with like carts, and they don't really have anything to worry about there. Another thing I would also make sure you have enough brake pad to actually race as well. You pretty much want to make sure your car is in good condition and all the maintenance has been done. Make sure your suspension's good. Just make sure your car is in good condition in general. Now, the person who commented on my Abarth autocross video asking about this about a week ago, he wondered what does he have to do to actually make sure his Abarth qualifies. Well, for you, sir, you don't really have to do anything but to make sure it's actually like in good condition, make sure all your maintenance has been done. Make sure you're not leaking any fluids, and you'll pretty much be good. Now, luckily, Abarths are actually allowed into autocross, but if you have a regular Fiat 500, I'm sorry, you won't be able to join because your vehicle is too high off the ground. The Abarth is too, but it's low enough for them to actually do it. The situation also applies to the Ford Fiesta and the Fiesta ST. So, there's one thing I do recommend doing before you go on an autocross, if you have the chance. Find your favorite back road and make sure your car is good. Try to push it a little bit if it's safe. Now, I don't condone racing on public streets, but it is a good way to see how your car is going to react and see if it's going to break anything. So, I'm going to take you guys on a little driving tour, and I'm going to show you what you need to look out for. Now, if I didn't say so already, you guys probably already know this, but you need a helmet. You need a Snell rated helmet. I recommend getting the newest one you can, but I think the current numbers that you are actually allowed to use right now is 2015 and up. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember, but you do need a Snell rated helmet. You can't just use a DOT helmet. They will not let you race. Some venues do actually rent out helmets, but a lot of them, from what I've seen, don't. So make sure you guys keep that in mind. Now, we're pretty much on the road now. What you want to do is rev your engine out as safely as you can. Do some good shifting. Make sure your transmission's good. Make sure your engine's good. Safe. Take the hard corner. If you feel unsafe driving your vehicle, you shouldn't be autocrossing it. That means something is either wrong or you're just not comfortable. As for this vehicle, this is a 2014 Honda Civic Si. It's in pretty good condition. And it's pretty flat. Shifts good. As you guys know, Honda pretty much has one of the best shifters in the business. That's what all the YouTubers say, at least. A good drive through your back road is a good way to tell if your car is in good condition or not. Because doing hard cornering and doing hard acceleration, you'll hear all the weird noises your car's been making. And you'll know that you need to get it checked out. As you can see, if I were to take this Civic autocrossing again, I'd be pretty good. The car shifts smooth, rides smooth, has good acceleration. If you feel that you can drive your car confidently without any problems, your car is definitely ready for autocross. The main thing about tech inspection and making sure your car is ready is safety. Well, after that hard drive with the Civic, everything seems to be good. No coolant smells, nothing leaking. Transmission's engaging great. This car is a 2014 with less than 100,000 miles. So you're pretty much in the same boat as I am. You won't have anything to worry about. Just make sure you actually check everything. You know, it ain't gonna hurt to do a second check. Now here's a car that might not make the tech inspection. And no, it's not because it's a convertible. Convertibles are allowed. In fact, you do not even need a roll cage to do autocross. You don't have to worry about that. But this car has a couple of things that might actually prevent me from racing it. First, we'll start inside the trunk. Now, as you can see, it's a pretty decent looking trunk. Of course, I need to get all this stuff out if I was to race. But here's the main problem. The battery. As you can see, the battery is too big for this car. And it's also really corroded. But, hear that? The battery is not held down. The battery is too big for this car. And it came like that, by the way. I didn't put this battery in there. I was going to get an OEM Miata battery, but they're pretty expensive. And I also have the holder too, to actually hold it down. Having your battery held down is really important, especially because I was, driving this car hard a couple of months ago on a mountain in Tokyo. And when I got back and opened up the trunk the next day, the battery was like laid down in the front. So yeah, you definitely do not want that happening. And the second reason why this car probably wouldn't pass, there's two more reasons. First reason is because when I first got this car, it had a huge coolant leak from the old radiator. Now I've had this new radiator for almost 2 years now, and it still smells like burnt coolant, even though there's nothing leaking. Like, I haven't touched this in about 5 months, 6 months, and it's pretty much still full, even during the summer. But for some reason, this car smells like burnt coolant. And if they smell that, they'll probably disqualify me. And one last reason is because I've had to replace the, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I had to replace the clutch slave cylinder about when I first got this car a long time ago. And that thing leaks. It's always leaked ever since I bought it. It was a cheap AutoZone one. I prefer, if you do have a Miata, to get a Mazda quality one, because that one that I have in there sucks. I have to refill the clutch fluid every 2 months, and it leaks out. If they see that, they might disqualify you. Don't think about the headlights. They ain't gonna say anything about that, and they're not like that permanently. I can still plug them back in. So if you guys enjoyed this video and thought it was very informative, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for the guy who asked for this video a week ago. You gave me a good idea because I didn't have anything to do. But I'll see you guys next time.